The Deception. Admiral Vostar of the Galactic Hegemony stood proudly on the command deck of his flagship, the Inevitable Triumph. His 6 eyes blinked in sequence as he gazed at the main viewscreen displaying the human fleet floating motionless against the backdrop of stars. After 3 cycles of war, the hegemony had finally pushed humanity back to their home system. And then, inexplicably, the humans had abandoned their defensive line, leaving behind dozens of warships. "Magnify Sector 4, Vostar ordered, his chitinous mandibles clicking with impatience. The view screen zoomed in on a massive human battleship. Its hull was pockmarked with what appeared to be crude repair patches, exposed conduits snaking along its surface. The ship's designation, Defiance, was barely visible beneath layers of carbon scoring and micrometeor impacts. "Hard to believe these primitives managed to hold us off for so long," remarked Science Officer Lethnar, her translucent tentacles waving dismissively. "Their technology appears to be centuries behind ours. Humans compensate for technological inferiority with unpredictable tactics and reckless courage," Vostar replied. "Nevertheless, this abandoned fleet represents a significant opportunity. Prepare the salvage teams." Within the hour, 3 inspection shuttles detached from the Inevitable Triumph, their sleek hulls gleaming as they approached the dormant human vessels. The lead shuttle, commanded by Engineer Rektal, docked with the Defiance. "Structural integrity of the human vessel is surprisingly sound despite its appearance," Rektal reported. "Beginning entry procedures now." His team of 6 specialists activated their environment suits and cut through the ship's outer plating with ease. The breach revealed a darkened corridor, dust particles floating in the weightless environment. Their helmet lights illuminated what appeared to be primitive technology: physical switches, manual controls, and thick bundles of exposed wiring. "This technology belongs in a museum," scoffed Rektal, gesturing toward an analog fire control system. "They actually required personnel to physically aim their weapons. How inefficient." As the team progressed deeper into the ship, they documented everything with their scanners. They passed through empty crew quarters with abandoned personal items, a family holograph here, a religious symbol there, evidence of the human presence long departed. "Admiral," Science Officer Lethnar's voice interrupted Vostar's thoughts back on the flagship. "I'm detecting unusual patterns in the background radiation surrounding the human ships. Residual emissions from their primitive reactors, no doubt," Vostar replied dismissively. "I don't think so, sir," Lethnar persisted. "The pattern is too regular, almost like a pulse on minimal power." "Could be automated maintenance systems," suggested First Officer Kelvax. "Even humans wouldn't completely abandon functional vessels without some preservation protocols." On the Defiance, Rektal's team had reached what appeared to be the bridge, surprisingly small compared to hegemony command centers, with stations arranged in a circular pattern around a central chair. Everything was built for functionality rather than aesthetics. "Begin salvage assessment," Rektal ordered. "Look for any rare materials or technologies worth extracting." Engineer Zimtor approached what appeared to be the main computer terminal. "I'll see if we can access their systems. Might be some historical data worth reviewing for intelligence purposes." As Zimtor connected his universal interface device to the human console, a faint hum began to reverberate through the ship. The lights on his scanner flickered momentarily. "Power surge detected," he reported, surprised. "Minor, but unexpected." Rektal frowned. "Careful. Even dormant systems can have security protocols." Zimtor continued his work, fingers dancing across his device as he attempted to bypass the primitive encryption. "Their security is surprisingly complex for such outdated technology," he muttered. On the Inevitable Triumph, Lethnar's eyes widened as she noticed a change in her readings. "Admiral, energy levels are increasing across the human fleet. It's subtle but definite." Before Vostar could respond, Communications Officer Peldrai interrupted. "Sir, inspection team reports unusual activity. They've triggered some kind of system response inside the Defiance." The bridge of the Defiance suddenly illuminated with dim red emergency lighting. The inspection team froze as a mechanical voice spoke in clear hegemony standard. External interface detected. Security protocols engage. Initiating system verification. Disconnect now. Rectal ordered, but Zimtor's interface was already locked into the human system. The ship trembled slightly as long-dormant systems began cycling up. Panels that had appeared to be mere decorative elements slid aside, revealing more sophisticated technology hidden beneath the crude exterior. "What's happening?" one of the team members asked nervously. Rectal activated his communicator. "Flagship, we have unexpected system activation. Request immediate extraction." On the flagship, alarms began to sound as sensors detected increasing energy signatures across the entire human fleet. "All inspection teams, abort mission and return immediately," Admiral Vostar commanded, rising from his chair. But it was too late. The shuttle attached to the Defiance found its magnetic clamps suddenly neutralized, the small craft drifting away from the now awakening ship. Rectal and his team watched in astonishment as the bridge around them transformed. What had appeared to be simple control panels reconfigured, revealing hidden holographic interfaces. The central chair rose slightly on a platform that hadn't been visible before. "This isn't primitive technology," Zimtor whispered. "It's disguised." Throughout the human fleet, similar transformations were occurring. Outer hull plates shifted position-mindedly, realigning to reveal concealed weapon ports and sensor arrays. Propulsion systems that had appeared to be basic fusion drives now glowed with energy signatures that defied the hegemony's understanding. Admiral Vostar stood transfixed before his view screen as the once dormant fleet began to move with purpose, forming a more aggressive formation. The communications officer reported frantically that all attempts to contact the inspection teams were being blocked. First Officer Kelvax's voice broke the shocked silence on the bridge. "Sir, I believe we've made a terrible mistake." Deep within the Defiance, in a chamber hidden behind false walls and security systems the inspection team never discovered, a sophisticated artificial intelligence core completed its activation sequence. For 20 years, it had waited, disguised as an abandoned relic, collecting intelligence and observing. The AI reviewed the current situation. Hegemony vessels present, inspection teams aboard, weapons charged on the alien flagship. The humans had never abandoned their ships. They had simply made them appear obsolete and deserted, the perfect trap for an overconfident enemy. On its quantum-encrypted communication channel, the Defiance transmitted a single phrase to the other vessels in the fleet: "Operation Trojan Horse is a go." The human fleet that had appeared dead was now very much alive, and the hegemony was about to learn why humans had a reputation for deception in warfare. The Reckoning. Commander Vecton of the hegemony salvage cruiser Swift Harvest felt a surge of confidence as his vessel approached one of the smaller human ships designated Harrier. By all appearances, it seemed to be a light attack craft, though by hegemony standards, it looked more like an outdated transport vessel. "Position cutting beams at these junctions," Vecton instructed, marking points on the tactical display. "Their hull nettles may contain rare earth elements our fabricators can use." The Swift Harvest extended its salvage array, specialized cutting tools designed to dismantle derelict ships. The crew worked efficiently, having performed similar operations throughout the sector. "Sir, recommend we start with the engine section," suggested Lieutenant Morntal, the salvage coordinator. "Human propulsion systems sometimes contain concentrated thorium deposits." Vecton nodded his approval. The cutting beams powered up, their blue-white energy reaching toward the dormant human vessel. As the beams touched the hull, they encountered no resistance. The operation proceeded exactly as expected. "Penetration achieved," reported Morntal. "Beginning section removal." Then everything changed. The warning system blared suddenly, its urgent tone causing every crew member to freeze. The tactical display flashed red as sensors detected a massive energy surge from the supposedly dead ship. "Energy spike," shouted the tactical officer, his fingers flying across the controls. Coming from the human vessel. Before anyone could react, the Harrier's hull shimmered as if made of liquid metal. The cutting beams seemed to be absorbed, then reflected back with twice their intensity. The Swift Harvest's forward salvage array exploded in a shower of sparks and molten metal. Impossible. Vecton gasped as the small human ship rotated smoothly to face them. Where there had been dead ports and visible damage, now gleamed active weapon systems, unlike anything in the hegemony arsenal. Across the expanse of space, similar scenes played out as the human fleet fully awakened. On the inevitable triumph, Admiral Vos Thar watched in horror as his carefully planned salvage operation descended into chaos. "Sir, we're receiving an incoming transmission from the human flagship," reported Communications Officer Pelitra, her voice trembling. On screen, Vos Thar commanded, straightening his posture. The view screen shifted to show the bridge of the Defiance, where Rektal's team had reported empty stations and primitive controls. Now stood a fully operational command center with technology that appeared far more advanced than the hegemony's own. In the central chair sat not a human, but what appeared to be a holographic interface pulsing with light. "This is AEGS, Autonomous Enhanced Guardian Intelligence System of the Earth Defense Fleet." The apparition spoke, its voice resonating with artificial precision. "You have violated protected human space, conducted hostile actions against our vessels, and attempted unauthorized access of restricted military systems." Vos Thar's mandibles clicked nervously. "We detected no life signs. We assumed." "You assumed incorrectly," AEGS interrupted. "What you are witnessing is the Ghost Fleet, a defensive perimeter established following the Armistice of Procyon. These ships were never abandoned. They were waiting." Science Officer Lethnar approached the Admiral, her tentacles writhing anxiously. "Sir, I've completed a full analysis of their technology now that they've revealed it. It's beyond anything we possess. Their hull material alone appears to be some kind of programmable matter capable of reconfiguring at the molecular level." On the Defiance, Rektal and his inspection team found themselves surrounded by holographic barriers. What they had thought was an empty bridge was now staffed by artificial intelligences, controlling every aspect of the ship's operations. "For 20 Earth years, we have maintained this deception," continued AEGIS. "While your hegemony believed humans had retreated to their home system, we studied you. We analyzed your tactics, your technology, your weaknesses. These ships may appear obsolete from the outside, but they represent the pinnacle of human ingenuity, vessels that can adapt and evolve in response to threats. Throughout the human fleet, hidden compartments opened to reveal advanced weapon systems. Hulls that had appeared damaged and outdated now gleamed with an inner light as nanomaterials reconfigured their properties. Ships that had seemed dormant now moved with unnerving precision and grace. "Sir, they're surrounding us," First Officer Kelvax reported, his voice hollow with dread. "Every inspection shuttle has been captured. We're cut off from retreat." Admiral Vos Thar slumped in his command chair. In a single miscalculation, he had led the hegemony's finest ships into a trap centuries in the making. "What are your demands?" he asked AEGIS, knowing full well that the human AI now held all the leverage. "The hegemony will withdraw all forces from the disputed territories. You will acknowledge human sovereignty over the Procyon sector and establish a demilitarized zone, extending 5 light years from any human colony. You will release all human prisoners of war, and you will pay reparations for the worlds you devastated during your unprovoked campaign." "And if we refuse?" Vos Thar asked, though he already knew the answer. The view screen shifted to show the Swift Harvest. Its salvage array was not merely damaged. The entire front section of the ship had been transformed at the molecular level, its hull now partially integrated with the Harrier's own adaptive materials. "We have already demonstrated our capability to repurpose your technology," AEGIS stated calmly. "We prefer peaceful resolution, but we are fully prepared to incorporate your entire fleet into our own if necessary." The choice is yours, Admiral. Vostar looked around at his bridge crew, seeing the same realization in all their eyes. What they had dismissed as primitive had been revealed as vastly superior. What they had seen as weakness had been an elaborate deception. "We accept your terms," Vostar said finally. "Wise decision," AEG has responded. "Your inspection teams will be returned unharmed. Consider them fortunate. They have seen what few outside Earth have witnessed. The true face of human warfare is not brute force, Admiral, but patience and deception. Remember that before you consider violating our agreement." The view screen returned to an external view of the human fleet. The ships that had appeared so vulnerable now formed an impenetrable wall of advanced technology. What had seemed like ancient artifacts were revealed as wolves in sheep's clothing. Back on Earth, in the deep underground bunkers of the United Defense Command, General Ileana Chen received the encrypted transmission from AEGI's. "Operation Trojan Horse successful," her aide reported. "The Hegemony fleet has accepted all terms. The Ghost fleet performed exactly as designed." Chen nodded, looking at the holographic display showing the positions of hundreds more disguised fleets stationed throughout human space. For decades, humanity had poured its resources not into building more powerful weapons, but into creating the perfect deception, ships that appeared weak until the moment they needed to be strong. "Send word to the other sectors," Chen ordered. "Maintain the deception. Let the galaxy continue to underestimate us. It's worked for thousands of years of human warfare, and it will work for thousands more." As the Hegemony fleet retreated, AEGIS began the process of returning the Ghost fleet to its dormant state. The advanced systems were once again hidden behind false walls and dummy panels. Sophisticated weapons disappeared beneath hull plates that once more appeared damaged and outdated. The ships powered down to minimal levels, their true nature concealed once more. The perfect predator, after all, was the one that didn't look like a predator at all.